special guest speaker is Shumi Ryu. She was born and raised in Japan, and she was a translator in the movie industry prior to Nu Skin. She is one of the most passionate and powerful speakers, so I'm so happy to see you all here today. And before we go on, there's a news clip that I'd like to share with you as part of Shumi's introduction. Let me share my screen.
Kobe, as soon as you hear it, you think of the man we saw dominate the basketball court for some 20 years.
But did you know there's actually a city in Japan also named Kobe?
Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez has more on the special connection.
From separate worlds, super athlete Kobe Bryant and a citizen of a major Japanese city with the same name.
Kobe.
Shumi Ryu, born and raised in the international port city of Kobe, a name that defines a spiritual connection.
It's gateway to the gods.
Since the death of the icon, Ryo says it has become her mission to explain a dimension of his name that elevates him in the eyes of her culture. Growing up in cosmopolitan Kobe, she was educated in many faiths, Catholic, Presbyterian. She was the Virgin Mary in this manger scene. Then her roots in Buddhism and Shintoism, which exalts the holy and high achievers.
Any superstar is a hero.
Especially for Bryant, she says, how he touched people around the globe, his name aligned with the example he set.
We are citizens of the world. He did everything the best way, with all the effort and with all his energy.
Ryo has worked as an interpreter for many stars, Charlize Theron, Gregory Peck, Gina Davis, baseball greats too. But explaining the name Kobe, she says, is a higher calling.
This is the symbol for God. This is the symbol for door. I don't really believe in accidents. I really don't think there's accidents. I do believe in destiny. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, of course, he's got a name, gateway to the gods. Where else is he going to go? Knowing always in his life or in his time that he would want to leave this world a better world. And I think that's probably what all of us should aim for in life.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Miriam Hernandez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
I love that gateway to the gods.
Absolutely. He wasn't just big here in Los Angeles, not just big nationwide, he was big internationally. Of course, there in Japan.
So let's hear about her journey, how she came into this business, and what insights she can teach us about how this is our time to wake up and hear about what Nu Skin has to offer. Let's give a warm welcome to Team Elite, Circle of Excellence 3, Shumi Ryu. Let's unmute Shumi, please. Shumi, sorry, you're muted, so we want to unmute you.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, we hear you. Yay!
Thank you. See, that's what happens when you're still living in the 18th century. Really. I like the style of the 18th century. I never thought I was going to live this long. I'm almost, well, just about 70 years old, and I'm still loving to stay in the 19th century if I can. And I gotta tell you, I am so non-technical, it's not even funny. For a minute, I thought to myself, where am I? I'm trying to I'm in this gallery of photos and I can't even find my own face. Anyway, great. So at least you can hear me, right? Great, great. Okay. I moved to this country about 7 years ago. Never was interested in any kind of sports, including basketball. So in Japan, um, in the newspaper, sometimes you would have this gentleman's face, but it would be written in Japanese and in a Japanese phonetic, and it would say Kobe Bryant, right? And then I come to the United States, and I don't read sports newspapers, but off and on I would hear this name, Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bryant. So I thought his name was spelled Coby, Coby, Kobe Bryant. So it was really not till that day when he passed with that tragic helicopter accident that all of a sudden, every channel that I turn, it's all news is about this gentleman who passed. And the name is on the screen. And it is not Coby, it's Kobe. And that's my hometown of Kobe. And I thought to myself, I didn't know there was an American gentleman's name like Mike, Mark, and Kobe. And I thought, wow, interesting. So I checked, found out that it's only he. It's only this gentleman who passed that day has his name Kobe. And it's not pronounced the right way as far as I'm concerned. It's Kobe. And I thought, how strange. How did he get that name? So I checked further to find out that his father, who used to be a basketball player, then became a coach. And guess what? He landed in my city of Kobe, teaching or coaching basketball for 3 years. And what he loved about the city is not only the city, but he loved the beef that we have. We have this beef called Kobe beef, where the steer is actually massaged, fed beer, and massaged with rice wine sake. So by the time he goes to the slaughterhouse, he is totally high in cloud number 9. So he doesn't even feel him being killed. And therefore, you get a meat that is all marbled with fat, and it just tastes like, it melts like butter in your mouth. And apparently, Mr. Bryant, his father, when he gets his salary, would go to a steak restaurant very close to my mother's home or my parents' home called Kobe Steakhouse. And that's where he would always have his leisure of having Kobe beef. So I read it that his father actually named his firstborn son from the menu of the restaurant, Kobe. And I thought to myself, that's not true. Why? Because if his name was really, because, Kobe Bryant always believed that his father named him after some Japanese beef. And I felt like telling him, no, no, no. Kobe, if your name was Kobe beef in Japanese, it would be Kobe gyu. You've got to say Kobe gyu or Kobe gyu, right? Or Kobe steak. No, his name is Kobe. That's it. That's the name of my city. And when you write that name in the Japanese or Chinese characters, it goes all the way back to this Japanese. It's not even a religion. It's like an aesthetic sentiment among the Japanese people called Shintoism. Shintoism is nature worship. Shintoism is when you pray to the gods in nature, like the sun, then the emperors become gods too, because they're quote unquote supposedly descendants of the sun god. Shintoism also has hero worship. Anyone who's a hero is a Shinto god. So you come to Japan, you've got religions. We've got the only Jewish synagogue in Japan is in our city of Kobe. 2 blocks away from there are 2 Muslim mosques. Another half a meter away is 3 Shinto shrines. Then I got about 10 different Buddhist temples. Why do the Japanese people say any religion can come to our country, whether you're Baha'i or Hinduism? Is because of Shintoism, hero worship. Buddha is a hero. Jesus Christ is a hero. Muhammad is a hero. It's all embraced. Shintoism. You look at we just finished the Cherry Blossom Festival in Japan. Okay, in Japan, Japanese people usually do not cut the branch of the cherry blossom. Why? Because we believe that there is a Shinto spirit in the cherry tree. So they just like watching the cherry blossoms. They do not really cut the branches. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what Kobe means? Kobe means 2 words, God and gate. Gateway to the gods. That's the name he got from his father, who thought it was Kobe beef. No, his name means gateway to the gods. So it was probably predestined. The day he was born, when he got that name, he was predestined to be the hero and the god of basketball, as far as I'm concerned. And I wanted to let the fans know this, because I did not want the fans to go Google and search like I did to find out that his name is named after a Kobe steak of beef. And so, do you know, in life, even in our business, in any business, what is most important is to have a definite purpose. You focus, right? Okay. And that's what I did. I thought to myself, here, I've never watched him play basketball because I'm not a basketball fan. And yet, when I found out that his name is misunderstood, I thought to myself, by hook or by crook. We have a saying here in the US, 6 degrees of separation. If you really want to meet somebody, if you go through 6 people, you probably can. So I had no contacts here in the United States because I've just been here for 7 years. My contacts in the entertainment business is all back in Japan. When the Hollywood stars come to Japan, I am their publicist / interpreter. So I had no contacts here, but I thought to myself, you know what? If I concentrate and focus with this passion of trying to get everyone in the United States to know that his name is not beef, you never know, right? In this business, what do? We talk and walk, right? We walk and talk. As long as our mouth is open, our business is open. So that's what I started doing. I started walking and talking, and lo and behold, within 36 hours of my passionate feeling of getting focused and thinking to myself, by hook or by crook, I got to tell not only the American basketball fans, but basketball fans all over the world, because he apparently is like a god of basketball. I thought to myself, if there's a will, there is a way. And so within 36 hours, I was talking to a Japanese girlfriend of mine who I met here in the United States, and she lives in Pasadena. And when I told her this story, she said, Shumi-san, you know what my business is? And I said, I'm not really sure, Emiko-san, what was your business? And she said, I do extension of eyelashes. I said, oh, you're right. That's why I wasn't interested, because my eyes are so sensitive. There's no way I can even put mascara, talking about perming your eyelashes to make it longer. I wasn't interested. So I totally forgot when I was first introduced to her, and when she told me what she did. But when she finally said that, you know what? I just had a client a couple of months ago, and I extended her eyelashes, and she is in ABC News. And I said, you mean ABC News Channel 7? She goes, yes. Her name is Miriam Fernandez, a Latino lady. And guess what? She just sent me an email thanking me for the extension of her eyelashes because it was mountain fires here in California. It was like June, all the fires were going on. And Miriam Hernandez wrote to my girlfriend Emiko saying, Emiko-san, thank you very much for that beautiful eyelash extension. By the way, these days, all I do is go up into the mountains reporting about fire. And I am so worried that my long eyelashes would singe because there's so much hot air. So she sent a photograph of herself with a huge goggle that you wear when you go underwater diving. And she's got this goggle on with an email photograph saying, thank you for the extension. So I said, Emiko-san, could you do me a favor? Could you give me her address or email address? And that's what I did. As soon as that night I got that, not the eye extension, the email address, I wrote to Miss Hernandez. I said, Miss Hernandez, you don't know me from Adam, but we do have a common friend. That common friend is Emiko Yamaguchi, who did your eyelashes. My name is Shumi, and the rest of the story you know. So what she did is she came and interviewed me the next morning at my house. And then the next thing I knew, she said, I gave it to the producers. Shumi, it's up to them. I'm already in London with another project, and I will let you know if they ever decide to air this. The night before the memorial service in, where is it? The big place downtown? Staples Center. The night before, I get an email from Miriam saying, I'm still in London, but tomorrow, 10 minutes before the main airing of the Staples Center memorial service, they've decided to air your story. So, folks, concentrate, focus, have a definite purpose in whatever you do, okay? And it will come true. I never thought in my wildest imagination that they were ever going to even air not just the story, but while she was at my house, she started saying, could I have a picture of Kobe? And I said, I don't have a picture of my hometown, except for, when I was very little, I've got some photos of my baby pictures. And she goes, can I see it? Next thing I knew, I had already finished the interview with little next knew it was on TV. And I thought to myself, I've got my shrine. I'm in a Protestant kindergarten. And then the story of Kobe Bryant. So you have some idea that I'm also, I've been for 45 years in the film industry, bringing blockbuster US films to Japan. So I'm what they call a publicist/interpreter. And my life changed when I was 40 years old. I happened to be in New York for 2 months, working with a Japanese producer who brought all the money in. And they needed to collaborate with a gentleman by the name of Mr. James Clavell, who is the English author for best-selling books like Shogun, Taipan, Noble House. And in 2 months, we collaborated with the permission of Mr. James Clavell. We tried to make a musical version of the Broadway show of Shogun. So I was in New York for two months. I was paid very well. But the only problem is my work. Timing was good for me at that time because I'm 70 now. So I'm talking about when I was 40 years old. Or even when I started being in the film industry in Tokyo when I was in my 20s, there were not too many people in Japan who really spoke English like me. Okay. So there were only 6 if you were lucky to find. Today there's 68. All right. So for me, when I was in my 20s and 30s, the timing was just right. even to be in what I would call a freelance gig. Okay. If you're in a freelance gig, that's the most insecure gig because you don't even get a salary. You get paid per diem, day to day or hour to hour. However, the timing was okay because there weren't that many people who spoke English in those days in Japan. Now, are you joking? There are probably about 150 bilingual people in just the film industry. In my days, it was 6. Timing is very important in whatever work you do. Okay. Now, 40 years old, timing was still okay. I was in New York, but guess what? The last day of my gig, as I am literally trying to fly out back to Japan on the FDR Expressway, the Franklin Roosevelt Expressway in New York, I was in a car crash, 4-car collision. And I literally whacked 6 of my 7 vertebrae in my neck was like crunched. I still remember, okay? Thank heavens, I have some great cousins, aunts and uncles, now nieces and nephews who are all in the medical industry. They're all on the East Coast. My dear cousins, they're now retired, okay? Because if I'm 70, my cousins are in their late 70s or, even maybe 80. And so they're retired. But they used to be they used to be the Dr. Anthony Fauci because they were epidemiologists. You all know the word epidemiologist now because of coronavirus, right? Okay. My cousins were epidemiologists, one for chronic, one for acute, NIH epidemiologists. So they were equivalent to Dr. Anthony Fauci. My cousin Kimmy would be on TV right now if she wasn't retired. Okay. So here, as soon as I was in the accident and I get this MRI, and I'm already told in my New York hospital where I was rushed into that this is an immediate candidate for neurosurgery. Immediate candidate for neurosurgery. Sent the MRI to my cousins in Washington, and they said the same thing. The only difference is, at that time, whether it was here in the United States or Japan, there weren't that many neurosurgeons that can really do something so delicate. Okay. United States at that time was really known for heart surgery and heart transplants and this, that, and the other, but not quite yet for neurosurgery. So what I had to do was not only look for the best doctors, maybe they're still in medical school, but what I had to do was when I found those doctors that I am prepared myself, meaning that I would have to keep my immunity as high as possible. Because maybe the surgery would be successful, but if my immunity is low, I would probably catch another virus while I'm in the hospital, or I might die from a common cold. Oh, Shumi's neck surgery was successful, but she still died of pneumonia because of that common cold. Now, you know what happened? For 2 years, I could not work. For 2 years, I was in a walker, I was in a wheelchair, this, that, and the other. You know what? When we're in a comfort zone, we love to be comfortable, right? We don't like change. Human beings do not like change. Human beings do not like to argue. We don't like confrontation. And definitely we don't like change, right? So if you're comfortable, okay, if you're 150% satisfied with what you are doing now and what your life is all about, I don't care how great a business opportunity, information comes to you, it just gone, comes in, out. And that was the same for me. Believe it or not, the new skin business came knocking on my door. I really believe that in your lifetime, in anyone's lifetime, 2 or 3 times, there is a knock on the door of some kind of a change, probably much for the better. But if you are comfortable where you are, you would not even hear the knock. And if you hear the knock and you open the door, you don't even grab it. That happened to me. Believe it or not, with new skin, it came knocking on my door 2 times. Was I interested? Absolutely not. I was having a great time working for Dustin Hoffman, Sidney Poitier, Gregory Peck, name it, with all the famous people. Why would I? What? What do you want me to do? You have to go what? Do I have to maybe go selling door-to-door shampoo? You must be out of your mind. Was not interested, right? Well, I have to really, really thank my friends, because when they heard about the accident, they called me for the third time. And that time, after 2 years of no work, okay, you've got to understand, I was ambulanced into a hospital in New York with no US medical insurance, nor did I buy any overseas insurance when I left Japan. In the United States of America, if you get sick and you have to go to a hospital, okay, and if you have no insurance, you're either dead or dead broke, right? So what did I end up? Dead broke, okay? So I was at a situation when that third knock came on the door, I needed money like I needed oxygen. Because I was in Tokyo, have not been able to pay 5 months of my rent. For the first time in my life, if you want to know someone who got their public utilities cut off in Tokyo, it's me. Gas, electricity, water cut off, okay? So I needed to do something to put a roof over my head, because my parents' business that used to be very good was not very good at that time, okay? My father had passed, okay? And my mother opens up whatever is left, finds out there's almost $4 million of debt, where she was co-signed as the guarantor. And guess what? I was the next guarantor next to her. So believe me, I needed money, finances, like I needed oxygen. And that was my definite purpose. When I started using the new skin products, which in the beginning, I wasn't even interested, because I liked anything France, it had to be C, okay? Christian Dior, right? Celine, all these beautiful names, okay? And that's all I was using in those days. So I wasn't interested in even using the products. However, when I used the products, and we only had 12 products at that time, mind you, okay? I'm going back 1992, okay? But I fell in love with the shampoo. To this day, I would not use another shampoo. Look at my hair at 70. It's never been dyed. I do have white, but you know what? I mean, it's like, it's wonderful. And then when I realized it wasn't selling, what we're supposed to do is to be the evangelist, to be able to talk about how good the products are. We can only talk about how good the products are if we are passionate users of the products. Okay. And I found out the business model is finding distribution channels for these products and actually starting a franchise business. That's what it was. You know what? I realize I am given only 30 minutes, and I probably have only 4 minutes left at this point, from what I understand. So you will have to probably call me again, because if I start talking, I could probably go on for about 30 hours. Like I'm like the Encyclopedia Britannica of new skins, all the gossips and everything else that you want to know. But all I can tell you today is, what's so important is to have a definite purpose. Because I look at myself these days, and as you probably know, I only work with New Skin for 2 years and 7 months. I see, you've got to understand, I have not come from a network marketing world, okay? Because when I started New Skin, I didn't even know the word Amway. When I would tell the New Skin story the best I can, someone would say, "Is that Amway?" And I would say, "I'm sorry, what's Amway?" Because I've never heard of Amway. See, so I all I know is I needed some financial footing And if this company, with no capital investment, just with my time and effort and my passion, because I do love the products, it's going to get me somewhere, I would give it a try. But I never in my wildest imagination realized what leverage in network marketing or leverage in the franchise business enables one to have such a life. So after 2 years and 7 months, I still remember I told my upline, Nathan Ricks, I said, Nathan, I'm going to take a vacation for a while. He goes, what? Japan is just starting. It's just getting into momentum. Where the heck do you think you're going to go? And I said, Nathan, do you remember when you did the 48 hours training? You told me long-term, short-term, what is your goal? How much money do you want for the rest of your life? Rain or shine, never have to work for the rest of your life. And I still remember I told him, if I can make $1,000 every month for the rest of my life, rain or shine, I would be happy. If I can make $1,500, I would be very happy. And if I can make $2,000 a month, hallelujah. And you know what he said to me at that time? He said, that's all. When he said that, I'm 11 years older than him. I said, sit down, young man, sit down, sit down. Let me ask you something. How much money, capital, do I have to put in the bank? Never touch that to be able to have the bank give me $1,000 every month. Nathan, you don't understand. I don't have money to put in the bank, all right? And you're telling me that's all? How can you say that? And he said, okay, let's start from there. That's how I started. So one day, not far from when I started, when I saw the check, in those days it's cashier check, and I looked at it and I said, you see, even these computers make mistakes. There's an extra zero here. I think I better put this right into the bank, because I know the accounting department of Nu Skin will call me tomorrow. And when they say, we made a mistake, extra zero, I'll say, I'm sorry, it's gone. Can we negotiate? Well, that's what I did. The next month, same mistake. A little bit more, but same mistake. Third month, I thought to myself, you know what? People in Utah are real laid back. They don't seem to care about mistakes, which is fine for me. By the fifth month, I realized, you know what? Maybe this is what leverage that Clara McDermott was trying to tell me about. And that's when I said to myself, okay. I remember Nathan Ricks telling me, Shumi, a residual income's definition is you can walk away from the equation of work and never have to work for the rest of your life, and that money will keep on coming. See, I've never done any kind of a network marketing business model or a franchise model in my life ever, because the only kind of work that I know is I work, I get paid that day for my interpreting. I work, I get paid. I don't work, I don't get paid. That was the only kind of business model I knew. So that's when I told him, I'm going to take a vacation for 6 months. And he said, you don't go anywhere. I said, no, I'm going, because I need to find out if what you told me is true. And I said, do not worry. In 2 months, if my commission goes down, I will come running back and get back on that wheel like a little rat. Never came back. For 25 years, I have been retired, cruised myself to death, vacation myself, okay? And I am back after 25 years. Why? And just give me 3 more minutes. The time is yours, right? That's the title, okay? In any business, what is most important is to look at market trends, okay? And if you can find even one market trend, for me, that one market trend is what brought me back to this business just 2 years ago. And that is, for me, it was genetic technology. It was genetic technology, okay? This company does $3 billion a year has more than 3,800 millionaires that they created. And what were the products? Great products, but very competitive products because there's so much competition. Shampoo, we got the best shampoo, but there's competition. We got the best hand lotion, but there's competition. But think about genetic technology. Even Mr. Bill Gates, when you ask him, what is the future, Mr. Gates? He comes up with the word genetic technology, okay? And if you are able to get into one area like we have with our company called epigenetics, the study of the expression of the genes, okay, and have exclusive patents for the services, technology, and the products. When you have exclusive patents, that means there's no competition. What's the best in business? When there's no competition. That, for me, that one market trend for me was good enough for me to come back to this business. But guess what's happened the last year and a half? Two more huge market trends converged. One is called coronavirus. Do you know how many people are out there very uncomfortable because they are no longer in their comfort zone, because they're laid off? Just here in the United States, my goodness, you got 85 million people. Okay, this time, it's not one country. Japan did so well when we opened because the Japanese economy, the bubble burst for the first time after World War II. And that for us was the momentum for Japan. One trend, okay, that only hit Japan at that time. Today, unemployment because of COVID has hit the whole world. Then you've got another group that's coming that weren't even born when Nu Skin was born 35 years or 38 years ago. They're called the millennials. Anyone aged between, someone like Lisa or Paul, aged between 25 to 45. That's a whole new generation of people, okay? So when you realize never, never, ever in this planet Earth's history will see such three strong market trends converging at the same time. And so here I am. I'm going, oh my goodness, definite purpose. Do I need money? I don't need money anymore. I really don't. I'm quite comfortable. For the rest of my life, I get that residual from shampoo and hand lotion, okay? I do remember the second time I did just a little bit come back into the business or stay with Nu Skin. I'll put it this way, not the business, stay with Nu Skin, was when I met Dr. Paul Cox. Yeah. Dr. Paul Allen Cox was the person who showed me the spirit, the soul, and the heart of this company. That's the reason why Shumi Ryu will always be with this company. Okay, when people come and start talking to me about water filters and magnetic, patches and this, that, and the other, I will never move. Why? Because I am hooked to the spirit and the heart of this company through Force for Good by meeting Dr. Paul Cox. Now, I have to have another definite purpose to start moving again. And I think my next definite purpose is when you look at this company and the business compensation plan, it's really a win-win, okay? Because this company and the work that we do gives us freedom. That's what it is, freedom. And that freedom, for me, at my age, 70, is three. You need the freedom of money. You need the freedom of time. And most of all, you need the freedom of total health. And this company can give you all three, okay? So my definite purpose now is I'd like to pay forward. I don't need the money. I've got the time. And now I do have total health. I mean, I'm 70, but right now, the energy that I have, I feel much younger than I did when I was in my 30s and 40s. Okay. So the last thing that I can do for my definite purpose is if I can leave this world a much better world than the one that I came into. And I think that's what Kobe Bryant did. Kobe Bryant, through basketball, okay, he left this world a much better world than the one he came into. And that's what I would like to be able to say. My own self, just be my self satisfaction. But for me, the day when it's time to go, if I can say, hey, I did put a little dent to this world to be able to make a lot of friends happy because they have health, happy because they've got time freedom, and happy because they've got financial freedom. And so that's I guess that's the last chapter of my book, because hey, you know what? I'd love to live till 150, but I don't think that that's quite possible. Guess what? In 20 years, I'm 90 years old. You know how fast that goes? 1 to 10 years old. Wasn't it very slow to become 10 years old? 10 to even 20 years old was slow. 20 to 30, skip, hop, and jump, 30. 30 to 40, you wake up one morning and you're 40 years old. 40 to 50, you batted your eyelids a little too much and you're half a century old. I don't even remember when I became 60. And now I'm going, oh, shoot, I'm 70. So 20 years is going to go so fast. And so, hey, the speed, so I got to speed it up too. And I sure hope that I meet all of you in the best beaches of the world. And let's all do something good for force for good for this planet Earth. Thank you so much for your time.